What's up, everybody? I'm whooping long COVID. This is the second half of the intro video. As I sit there and I think about how do I manage long COVID, I have to put it into some frameworks that I can conceptualize, get my arms around, and then proactively act upon. And as I mentioned before, nobody really has a full sense of what's going on, and there's a lot of different opinions about it. So what I've done is I've kind of translated all of that information, all of the work that I've done, into the way that I think about it, and I'm going to talk about it in the way that I think about it. I am not a doctor, and I recognize that there's going to be people out there who are going to say, no, you use this acronym, and this acronym really means that, whatever. I don't give a shit. Fine, you can be right. What I'm trying to do is manage the way that I think about it. And as I said, I'm not a doctor. I am under the care right now of 9 different physicians at 6 different medical institutions, including I'm a guinea pig for long COVID treatment for the Center for Long COVID at the University of Pennsylvania. And so I am getting a lot of actual medical information. I will say that my experience with this is even doctors are kind of up in the air about kind of what to do. And obviously the FDA approved treatment protocols versus non-FDA and integrative health and all the rest of the stuff. Eastern medicine versus Western medicine. I don't care. Western medicine saved my life. I absolutely am a fan. I also believe that Western medicine doesn't have all the answers. And there's some validity to Eastern medicine. And then I also feel like there's some emerging stuff that the FDA is going to study for 10 years, and then we're going to decide whether or not it works, but I don't have 10 years. So I'm going to experiment with that stuff today. To that end, the way that I think about this is in 2 categories. So there is, number 1, trying to solve the underlying root cause of the problem. And then number 2 is trying to manage symptoms. On the root cause side, the way that I think about this is kind of like HIV in the 80s. For those of you who are around long enough to remember that, if you got HIV in the 80s, it was a death sentence. You were dead, period, end of story. That's that. Today, I can't watch TV late at night without seeing commercials for, hey, take this pill and you'll have HIV, but it'll be undetectable. You can't transmit it and you'll live a normal life. And what they're doing is they're reducing the viral load in your body. And so the root cause for me, I'm just bucketing all of this into how do I reduce the viral load in my system? And we'll talk about the ways that that occurs. The second category is symptom management, which is you're dealing with this set of symptoms. I mentioned a lot of the stuff that I'm dealing with in the other intro video. And so there are things that I need to do on a day-to-day basis just so I can get out of the fucking bed and walk downstairs, just so I can eat and drink water. Real fundamental things. And as far as I'm concerned, anything is on the table. If I look at something and there is some scientific evidence for it that's reasonable, and it makes sense to me, I'll try it and I'll see what happens. And actually my doctors are kind of pissed off about this because I'm taking what I call the sledgehammer approach to this thing after dicking around with it for 2 years piecemeal. And I'm hitting it all directions with supplements, with medicine, with treatment modalities, with other types of programs. And I'm hitting it all at once. And they're saying, hey, look, we're not going to know what works if you do it like this. Can you do it sequentially? And I go, no, I can't, because I don't care. I just want to have my life back. I want to have a normal life again. And so I get that it would be great for humanity if I did it that way and I was able to provide background, but I'm not going to do it. What I am going to do is share it with you, though, so that you understand what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, how I'm thinking about it, and what the results are. So with that, I'm going to have a series of these videos that kind of talk about each one of the different things that I'm doing. Hopefully it's useful to all of you. By the way, don't expect any sort of editing. Don't expect any sort of fancy backgrounds or fancy transitions or any of the bullshit that you see from some of these guys who are professional YouTubers and are trying to make a name for themselves. I'm not going to do any of that stuff. 1, because I don't care. 2, because I don't have the time or the mental acuity right now to be able to do any of that stuff. And I don't think it's necessary. I think, you know, hopefully all of you guys can pick and choose and look at what I'm doing. And if you think it might work for you, try it and see if it works for yourself. Or look at it and say, no, that seems too weird. I'm not going to try that. And then not do it. So with that, we're going to start releasing videos, and I wish you all the best. And feel free to not troll me if I use the wrong acronym or if I say something that's, you know, medically inaccurate. I'm not professing to be the guy on this. I'm just a guy that's trying to get better. So cheers, guys.